we'll keep it with LA with this topic. The Lakers lost to the Rockets. LeBron James didn't play. So let's be fair that LeBron doesn't play. And in addition to the fact that this isn't the most talented team in the NBA, you take an otherworldly talent like LeBron, who also is your main shot creator, leads you in scoring and assists, or maybe second in scoring. I mean, whatever, in scoring and assists and rebounding, like walking triple-double. You take him off. The team is built one way. You play without him, you have to play a completely different way. Now, the Rockets didn't have Russell Westbrook, but they did shoot the ball incredibly well, and the Lakers shot the ball terribly. 2 of 19 from 3. This coming off of the Lakers shooting, was 5 of 37 from 3 the night before? I mean, it's just... And if you look, LeBron, since the restart, 27% from 3. AD, 24.6. KCP, 18.3. Danny Green, supposed to be a three-point shooter, 12.3. Dion Waiters, 10%, and JR has not hit a 3. And he was, you would assume, brought in to improve that three-point shooting. They're shooting 23% as a team from 3, and they've gotten progressively worse during their time in the bubble. Can some of that be helped? Can they shoot through some of it? Yeah. Is some of it you have an older team, and when you're playing this many games in this shorter period of time, you're just not going to have the legs? Sure. But man, are they struggling. And what's going to happen is, if they don't win an NBA championship, who's going to get the blame? I know that Skip will point out LeBron's inadequacies and is like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you there's any fear of failure or there's a choke in him. And I'm reasonable to understand that in the NBA, you have to have space, especially the way LeBron plays, where he's trying to play downhill and almost bully ball. And especially now, he's not as athletic as he used to be. He's still, by anybody's estimation, an incredible athlete, but he really does have to get, into your body, use his strength in order to try and get by you or post you up or find an angle. There's a certain cleverness when you're 35 that you don't have to have when you're 28 and you're just the biggest, fastest, strongest, baddest you-know-what on the planet. But if you want to see the easiest correlation in stats to victories with the LA Lakers, doesn't revolve around shooting. And look, I'm somebody who said, if I'm LeBron, I'm pissed at Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley didn't play well early on in the season. He was just starting to play great. He's a tremendous perimeter defender who they're going to need if they take on any of these teams in the postseason. They're going to light them up. Damian Lillard going against, if you've watched the past couple days, you better realize you can't play Quinn Cook against a legit all-NBA caliber point guard. What Chris Paul did to him that's abuse in some states. And as much as we all love Caruso, look, there's a ceiling there. There's a ceiling there. Doesn't really score. He is a really good athlete. He defers a ton to LeBron. Like, he's a tremendous defender, but outside of transition, he doesn't give you a ton offensively. Those guys are backups for a reason. They don't have a starting point guard. Like, all of this is absolutely reasonable to go like, man, if they had Darren Collison and Avery Bradley hadn't opted out, it's a totally different team. But they don't. But if you just do yourself a favor when you're at home, if you're bored, click on LeBron James and click on splits for this year. Splits. Okay? LeBron James in wins, 26.8 points per game. Can I round up to 27? Is that okay? In losses, 20.7. I'll round up to 21 if you want. Still, that's a 6-point difference. But here's where it gets even worse. In the wins, he shoots 51% from the field. In the losses, 42%. In the wins, 38% from 3. In the losses, 21%. In the wins, 71% from the free throw line. In the losses, 63%. You know, he turns it over a little bit more. The assists are essentially the same. The rebounds are actually higher when they lose. The only thing that's different is the scoring. So while LeBron James and anybody who supports LeBron James, as a fanboy of LeBron James, can tell you, and it's a reasonable discussion to have, that you go like, hey, can he do it without shooters? I don't know. They don't have enough shooting right now. Maybe that eventually water finds its level. They can work with, like, just every day, get in there, get reps, get volume, rest guys. They have better legs, you know, and just and make shots that they missed. Maybe have some mental coaching as well while they're there. I mean, they have Mike Pemberthy's one of the assistants. He's a shooting coach. He was a great shooter. There was an NAIA guy that made the Lakers. He beat me out. He's one of the best shooters I've ever seen in my life. So it's not for lack of teaching or coaching. They're just not making shots. But none of that really correlates to wins or losses. LeBron's stats do. Here's Frank Vogel on the shooting.
We just haven't had practice time. So, we got to continue to work through it. And again, we got a lot of guys going in and out. We're watching tape on it each day, trying to learn from the types of shots we're trying to create. I thought we took less bad shots from the perimeter tonight, and that usuly helps your percentages. It didn't tonight, but it did create more attacks to the basket, more free throw attempts, more points in the paint. So there's some positives there.
Okay, sure. Like the practice time thing is, look, guys can get into a gym and get shots up. That's not at issue. And it'd be one thing if they were in an adverse situation as opposed the Rockets in the exact same game, 21 of 57, which isn't a great percentage. It's 37%. It's not crazy high, but damn, they took how many threes? 57 threes? And I'll grant you the construction of that team with no big guys is different. But if you want to go practice time, why would the Rockets not have the exact same amount of practice time? The Trailblazers last night, 23 of 39. The Nuggets, 14 of 28, 50% from three. The Clippers beat the Mavericks last night. The Clippers, 14 of 31. The Mavericks, 17 of 48. All of these teams are in the exact same bubble environment with the exact same amount of practice time or ability to get to a gym. So I don't buy that one. Better shots, sure. Having more point guards who create those shots, absolutely. But if you want to tell me it's because they haven't had practice time, that doesn't hold up to me. And maybe here's the biggest thing. They've shot poorly, still found a way to win throughout the season. Let's give some accountability to LeBron. And last night's night, he didn't play, and he's carrying a lot. But if they win or lose, the season statistics tell you LeBron is the reason or the cause.